welcome to my channel, Boundless Books. So today I thought I would do a review of the book Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This book just came out and I finished it, so I thought I would give you guys a little review and tell you what I thought about it. So I'm going to start with my spoiler-free review of the book for those of you who have not yet read it, and then I'm going to jump into some more of the details. So I'll make sure to throw up a big spoiler alert down here when I dive into some of that stuff. I'll say spoilers. So Passenger is a time travel story that also involves swashbuckling and pirates. The protagonist of the story is a young woman named Etta, and at the beginning of the story she discovers that she can travel through time very unexpectedly when she's in the middle of a violin concert and dramatically travels back to the 1800s. The novel switches perspectives between another main character named Nicholas, who is also a time traveler, except that he is originally from the 1800s and he is a pirate. So these two characters meet up and go on a quest to search for a mysterious artifact. And that's what most of the book covers, is their quest for that artifact. So that is the spoiler-free description of this book. So if you have not read it, stop and go out and read it. Do that right now, because I'm about to get into all the spoilers. And if you want to jump to the end of this video so you can see my final rating of the book, just click the link right here and it'll take you to that section. Alright, now for the spoily bits. So overall, I really like this book. However, it did take me a little while to get into it. I thought the first 2 to 3 chapters were just a little awkward. There was kind of an information dump where the author was trying to provide you the context you needed to get through and understand the rest of the book. However, I thought she could have done a more subtle job of kind of weaving that information in. Etta had all these pictures throughout her house that her mother had painted that later became important because they were locations that Etta had to travel to in order to procure the astrolabe. That piece of information felt so inorganically added into the first couple chapters that I was just sort of like, why are they talking about photos on the wall right now when she's about to play a violin concert? I understand why that information was there, but I was just so confused as to why it was just sort of slammed in the beginning. I also thought Etta's initial character development was kind of strange in those first couple chapters. She's sort of portrayed as this extremely timid character who can't really adapt well to situations, which is totally unlike her for the rest of the book. I also thought that some of the descriptions of Etta's initial travel were a little confusing. I understand that she didn't know that she was traveling through time, but I thought that Alexandra Bracken left me as a reader a little confused as well, which is not optimal. However, once the two characters finally meet on the pirate ship, could not stop reading the book. The pace suddenly picked up, and all those kind of awkward descriptions from the beginning that didn't really make sense to me kind of clicked suddenly, and I got the context of where they were, what was happening, how time travel worked, and I started to understand a little bit more the dynamics between the characters. What I really liked the most about the book was the relationship between all the different time traveling families, the Lindens, the Ironwoods, and the Thorns. I was really intrigued by that, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the next book in this duology. I also really loved all the details about, how time travel actually worked. Time travel books can be really confusing, and it's very easy to kind of contradict yourself with the whole causality issue in time travel. Can you change time or can you not? Is it all set? And I thought Alexandra Bracken's explorations of some of those themes were really interesting. Even the way she kind of handled characters not being able to jump back into their own timelines and see themselves again just because the portals wouldn't allow them to go through. I thought that was really clever. I also really enjoyed the relationship between Etta and Nicholas. I thought those two were very strong protagonists and they played off of each other really well throughout the novel. They were both after the same goals, but they were very conflicted about what the outcome would be once they achieved finding the astrolabe. And I thought that was very realistic, understanding that they're from different timelines and their understanding of what they can achieve in society and their goals were very different. Another aspect of this novel that I really enjoyed is the exploration of how race affects the different characters, especially how race affects people throughout time. And I thought it was really refreshing to see this sort of explored in a book really head on. And I haven't really seen that in many time travel books. Also, how awesome is Sophia as a character? I just gotta throw that out there. I didn't think I'd like her in the beginning of the book because she seemed kind of like an annoying character, but I really like seeing her appear at the end of the book again. I think she's going to become a major player in the next book, so I'm interested to see how her character develops. Finally, gotta mention the ending of this book. Whoa, what a cliffhanger. We don't know if Etta's still alive, if she was like disintegrated through sort of a time loop causality thing. I mean, I don't know what's happening. I'm sure that Alexandra Bracken will tie things off nicely in the next book, but I'm definitely anxious to find out where it all goes. So overall, I would give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and that's primarily due to the fact that the opening chapters were a little awkward, and I feel like some readers might not have been patient enough to get through those. But by no means does a 3.5 mean that you shouldn't go and read this book. I would definitely recommend it if you like time traveling and learning about other historical periods. So I would say go out and read this book for sure, but just know that the first couple of chapters take a little bit to get into the characters in the book. So to finish up this video, I thought I would recommend a few books that you might enjoy if you enjoyed Passenger, or if you just like time travel books in general. First book I'd recommend is The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. This is a slightly different take on time travel, and instead of the character actually moving through time, it's only his consciousness. The second book that I would recommend is Outlander, and this is a very classic time travel, one of the characters going back in time to the Scottish Highlands, so if you like Scotland, this is a great option for you. And the final book I'd like to recommend is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. And in this book, the character can travel back within his own timeline and interact with his younger self. So in my next video, I'm going to be doing a roundup of all the books that I read in the month of January. I'm actually going to be covering 3 of the books that I mentioned in my top anticipated books of 2016. So if you were intrigued by some of those books, definitely check out my video next weekend. And until next time, my name is Laura, and thank you so much for watching. Bye! So this book follows a protagonist named Edda. I got so not far. Okay.